Welcome, race fans. This is Paul Page, the voice of IndyCar. And today we're excited to present another IndyCar event brought to you by the Dark Horse IndyCar Series. From the Unzers to Mears, to Foyt and Andretti, now it's Corley, Peterson, Davies, Garner, and Teague. You can expect high speed, incredible wheel-to-wheel action, and intense drama that you could only get in an IndyCar. So sit back and enjoy your favorite drivers from all over the world take the track. Dark Horse IndyCar drivers, start your engines.
And we are live. Hello everybody and welcome to the Dark Horse IndyCar Series Season 2, Race 6 from the Kentucky Speedway. Joining me today in the broadcast booth is Thomas Fisher. Thomas, if you are here, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing very well. How about yourself, Jonathan?
I'm doing very well as well, getting ready for a pretty exciting race. I have a feeling this is going to play out quite a bit different than some of the other mile-and-a-half races we've seen this season, purely because of the way the track is. You know, a lot of the tracks that we've seen this season are very much symmetrical. A lot of them have the same banking on either side. Well, Kentucky is very, very much different. If we can go on board with Eric Peterson here, who is still in the pit lane, David Leclerc. You'll see turns 1 and 2, it's pretty highly banked, getting around that 20-30 degree mark, but then heading towards turn 3 and 4, you're going to see it's a lot flatter, a lot slower. It's much more noticeable in a stock car than I think you're going to see in these high downforce Indy cars. There is definitely a difference between turns 1 and 2, and I think that's really going to make the racing a lot more different than what we've seen this season. Thomas, what are you expecting out of this race tonight?
Well, I'm expecting a lot of action, obviously, because of the high bankings in turns 1 and 2. But for tonight, there are a few special rules for this event that I would like to go over you with. So between the start-finish and turn 1, drivers may pass below the yellow line. So that's that's special for this race. The drivers will have one faster pair. In the beginning of the race, there will be EOLs for Eric Schaus, Charles Johnson, and Schwabauer. Can't remember his first name.
Yeah, so there will
Todd. No. Is it Eric Schwabauer? Oh God, I feel stupid right now.
It's Bill.
Bill.
It's Bill. We got it.
We got it. As well as there are 3 drivers making their Dark Horse IndyCar Series debuts as long as they join for tonight. They still have a few minutes to get in the session. But Chris Massey, Matt Wagner, and Joey Gattina will be making their first starts tonight as long as they join on time.
Yeah, so a couple of drivers starting at the back, a couple of drivers making their first start in this series. We've seen a lot of drivers have quite a bit of success just after their first start. We saw that with Nick DeGroot, who is currently leading the standings by about 44 points over second place. DeGroot at this point, you know, we're only about halfway through the season, but dare I say, he might just have this championship locked up. You know, I think it's a little bit too early to call, but at the same time, keep in mind that DeGroot is 44 points ahead of Craig Forsyth, so he would essentially need to score 0 points, and Forsyth would have to win in order for Nick DeGroot to lose this championship lead. Even so, I think at this point, I don't want to say it's fully locked up, but I think that it's definitely getting closer to where we can kind of start having that discussion. Either way, though, I don't think it's been impacting the racing at all. These drivers are consistently putting it all out there, leaving their best on the track, not really leaving anything up to question. So I think that regardless of if Nick DeGroot walks away with the championship or not, we're going to see a very exciting race until the end. But speaking of the championship, Thomas, outside of Nick DeGroot, who do you think are some drivers that might be able to challenge him?
I mean, Alexander Van der Sant, you know, he's been challenging Nick DeGroot the whole time. He looked like he had the car to beat, last time out at the Milwaukee Mile. But one thing I would like to point out right now is that Craig Forsyth is second in the championship currently, I believe 40-some points behind Nick DeGroot. But currently on this track, Nick DeGroot in practice currently sits second with a time of 24.108, 6,000th of a second behind Eric Peterson. And Craig Forsyth is sat well down the order with a time of, and I've just lost it, 24.314. So just over 2.1 tenths of a second separating these two drivers right now in practice. So I am tempted to say that in this race, Craig Forsyth will fall back from Nick DeGroot as the pace currently stands.
Yeah, Craig Forsyth, we've seen him be a lot faster earlier on in the season than he has been as of recent, but I think one driver that we definitely need to talk about is Eric Peterson. He's been consistently the fastest drivers in practice and qualifying. he has never really been there in the race. Well, I think after a while, I remember I said this back at Gateway, where after so many times of these drivers getting so close and having a chance to compete up front, but not being able to do so, I think after a while, they're going to have to figure it out. So I'd keep Eric Peterson in mind here as we head into Kentucky. There is Craig Forsyth, the driver closest to Nick DeGroot in the standings, but on track, definitely not quite at his level. We'll see if that can change today. Craig Forsyth's getting ready for his qualifying lap. A couple of drivers already out on track, including Joe McAdory, Gary Corley still in the pit lane, Josh Garner still in, so most drivers still waiting. But Joe McAdory out on track already, getting ready to start his qualifying laps.
Yep, just while we're watching these drivers head out to their first qualifying lap. The three new guys are actually in the session. They will be competing tonight. Matt Wagner put his car on third in practice, exactly 400th of a second behind Eric Peterson in first, and Joey Katina was about 400ths of a second behind him in fourth. Chris Massey fell a little bit further down the order, just behind Todd Schneider. Yeah, so interesting to see. These these new guys are really starting to challenge to the top.
Yeah, and you can hear Joe McAdory lifting as he goes into turn 3 and 4 there. Being smooth is absolutely going to be key towards saving these tires, and McAdory backing off just a little bit. Yeah, he might not be going for a pole time here. He might just be trying to kind of keep it a little bit calm, play it safe, and not wreck in these qualifying laps. Craig Forsyth out on track now. I believe this is his first flying lap. Keeping it nice and low down the back straightaway and headed towards turns 3 and 4. No lifting out of this 131, almost flat out. Coming back onto the front straightaway, we'll see if Forsyth is able to take away that pole position.
As it stands, he did 24.522, just about a hundredth and a half ahead of Charles Johnson.
Oh,
and as I say, Craig Forsyth gets absolutely demolished by Alexander Van de Sant, and Joey Katina just went to third with a 24.358.
Oh, and something tells me that Van de Sant is not going to go for a second lap. He is pulling off into the pit lane, but he is right now on pole by about half a tenth.
He did 2 laps.
Oh, well, then
His
never
first
mind
one must
that.
have been invalidated.
Yeah, Charles.
His first lap.
Oh, Pasalacqua now into second. So Brandon Pasalacqua stopping on track now. He is currently in second. Couple of drivers yet to qualify.
On pole. David Leclerc currently on pole. 24.257. I said in the beginning of the season, David Leclerc was going to be a force to be reckoned with, and he has just proven that by going much faster than Alexander Van de Sant.
Yeah, David Leclerc, it's been a very interesting case for him. On one hand, he won that preseason race that we had at Auto Club. He was pretty strong in the Auto Club race itself, but he hasn't really been there ever since that season opener in Auto Club, so we'll see if he can maybe have a little bit of a rebound tonight. I remember he was also pretty competitive at Miami, so this track is pretty similar to the tracks that he's been good at in the past. Garner still waiting in the pit lane. Now Nicholas Wunnock on track, I believe. This is his first lap.
Nick DeGroot just did his first lap as well, put himself 13th on the board, 24.44.
We gotta watch out for this. We know he's been probably the fastest driver all season, hasn't really had too much of a challenge. We'll see if he can get the pole going through 3 and 4 now. Off turn 4 and coming to the line, Nick DeGroot looking to put that number 89 on pole.
And he's done it. He is currently on pole with a 24.240. 0.017 ahead of David Leclerc.
Krista Nelson, she's on track now as well, currently 16th with the 24.470. We'll see if she can improve this time by. But judging by that speed through 3 and 4, the answer is going to be no. Matt Wagner still waiting in the pit lane. Josh Garner rolling
Josh Garner
out
just went out.
laps.
Yep, sorry, Josh Garner. Yeah.
Josh
yeah,
Garner.
gosh. I will. Words.
Yes,
yeah.
words.
Words are the things I enjoy.
Alright, so we're going to try this again. Josh? You can finish it off here, Thomas.
Josh.
Garner. Josh Garner.
Jonathan's annoying.
Yeah, I know. Lap 1 underway for Garner now. Nice and wide into turn number 1. Keeping it right above that little black strip on the inside. Just dipping the left tires below. Down the back straightaway and right next to that outside green wall. One of the distinct things about this track is that bright green wall on the outside of it. Through 3 and 4. Keeping it nice and low. A little bit high off turn 4. Trying to keep that momentum up as he comes to the line. Garner Gonna set a 24.674, only goes 20th. We'll see if he can improve next time by.
Now, I don't want to be the person to call wolf here,
All
but
right.
whose brilliant idea was it to paint the outside wall green? I mean, any scuff mark in that is going to
Well.
show, like, bloody red on white.
Well, you see, Thomas, they had to find some way to make this track.
And Josh
interesting.
Gardner goes 16th, 24.407, 1,000th behind Todd Schneider. He's getting pushed back now to 17th. I
Matt
believe it's
Wagner
Eric
on track
Shout.
too. Matt
Okay.
Wagner is on track. I believe this is his first lap, keeping it nice and high, trying to heat those tires up, wind up for his second lap. We'll see if he goes lower this time by. No, he is electing to take that fourth lane.
You know, he's on his first lap now.
Okay, so that was just an out lap. This is his first lap, trying to wind up for that second lap. Through turns 3 and 4, Wagner gonna line it up, try and go for a good time here. Only 4 drivers yet to qualify. He is among them. Onto that yellow line on the front straightaway and headed for turn 1. Wagner keeping it nice and low below that black strip. He might be on for a good lap here.
Please don't jinx it.
Nice and wide through 3 and 4, keeping it nice and low. Just went a little wide there, though. That might not be a bad thing. Trying to keep the momentum up. Coming to the line now. Wagner below the yellow line, bouncing on that inside tarmac.
Fourth.
Fourth place.
Tied with Max Davies. Exactly tied with Max Davies.
That is
And
very impressive.
1,000th behind David Leclerc in second.
So a very good lap by Matt Wagner in his first start. He is going to go 4th on the board, and I believe that is everyone who needs to qualify. Nick de Groot is going to be on pole again. He is definitely the favorite to win this race. We'll see if he is able to hold on for the remaining 120 laps, which are ahead of these drivers. I believe everyone is off track now. Only driver yet to qualify is Jeffrey Duncan, but I'm not sure if he will. I think that'll do it for qualifying. Your pole sitter is the 89 of Nick de Groot.
Yeah, and how would you feel about bringing up the newcomer in Matt Wagner? I will pronounce these names correctly on one day, Jonathan.
I believe
will.
in you. But yeah, I think we should
okay.
absolutely bring Matt, now I'm doing it, Matt up into the broadcast booth.
Alright, you keep calling me Charles, mate. It's alright.
Okay.
Hey, Matt, it's Thomas up at the TMG broadcast booth. You got me? Okay, we're going to try this again. Matt, it's Thomas up in the TMG broadcast booth. You got me?
I don't think he does.
Okay, third time's the charm. Matt Wagner, it's Thomas up in the TMG broadcast booth. You got me?
Oh. And that'll be a no. We are 0 for 3. There goes our
And-
post-race interview.
Post-race? Blimey, that went by
Oh
quickly.
man, I meant pre-race. Well,
Okay, well,
we're all
instead-
mistakes.
Exactly. Instead, how about we bring up Max Davies?
That does sound
Yeah.
like a good idea. Let's bring Max Davies into the broadcast booth. Qualified third, he'll be starting inside second row. Max, this is Jonathan up in the TMG broadcast booth. You got us? Oh, man.
No one loves this anymore, Jonathan.
I don't think he does.
Max Davies, number 51 car. It's Thomas up at the TMG broadcast booth. You got me?
Hang on.
See,
there we
he
go.
loves me, Jonathan.
Yeah, I'm just not. I'm
It's
not.
not-
Yeah, you there, Max?
Oh,
Or not. Bye, Max. he
this isn't
left.
going well for us.
He just hopped in the broadcasters only.
Oh, he's back.
Oh, he's back. Max, you there?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. All right. So, qualifying third on the exact same time as the newcomer Matt Wagner. What are your thoughts after qualifying?
I'm pleased with that. I went. I actually think I had a little bit more time because I didn't have a good apex into turn 3 on the last run there. So it's good. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Just going to sort of take it easy and see what happens, I guess.
Yeah, you're also 1,000th of a second behind second place David Leclerc. Do you think it's going to be a close battle between the three of you and maybe even up at the front with Nick de Groot?
Yeah, I hope so. It's this is a track where anything can happen. So it'll be interesting to see what lines people are taking. If people are going to save their tyres, a little bit of fuel or whatnot, or if people are just going to send it.
Seems pretty fair to me, unless Jonathan has anything else to add.
I do not have anything else to add. Thank you for joining us, Max. We always appreciate it when people can take time out of their day to come up into the broadcast booth, and good luck in the race.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, hope it's a good show. Speak to you later.
Yeah. Are you in CIRE? I totally forget.
I am.
Okay, so interesting with Max,
Oh,
Okay.
what?
Okay, so Charles T just said in group chat that they're...
Well, we've got some pre-race developments, apparently.
Hold on.
All
I'm
right.
confused.
I'll hold
Okay,
on to my wheel here.
Yep. Organizer of the race, Charles T, qualified 6th, just said that they're flipping the grid. I'm not sure if he was taking the mickey or if he's actually serious. So, Jonathan, should we bring him up and ask him?
I think we absolutely should, because I don't know what's going on.
Hey, Charles, it's Thomas of the Team G broadcast booth. You got me?
I did. What's up, Thomas?
Yep. We just heard you in iRacing voice chat saying that you're flipping the grid. Is
I
that...
was goofing.
Okay, that's a piss take. Okay, we were confused.
Yeah, I know. I was totally goofing on him.
Okay, yeah, well, you know what? You're up here anyway, so we'll ask you a few questions. Qualified 6th right now. What are your hopes for the race?
I think it's going to be a tough one. There's just the field keeps getting tougher and tougher. So, yeah, it's going to be fun. My hope is to pull the top 5 out of this.
Yeah, thoughts on the newcomers. So, Matt Wagner,
Yep.
Joey Gattina, and Chris Massey.
Yeah, we got some. Those are some fast cars coming in here. You see it in the field. Matt had a pole and nearly won last night. So yeah, we're glad to have him over here. This is going to be a doozy. I think you guys are going to enjoy this one. This is going to be really, really aggressive and pack racing here tonight.
Alrighty. Well, unless Jonathan has anything else to add, Charles.
I do not.
Thanks, boys.
Yep.
Have a great
cheers.
podcast.
Yeah, we definitely will. Have a
We
good
will
one.
do our best.
Thank you.
So the pace truck rolling off now. That was actually a very well-timed interview by Charles. Everyone else going to be rolling off with him, or with it. I don't think the pace car has a gender. Starting with the 89.
That's a
of
dangerous
Nick
thing to
DeGroot.
say, Jonathan. Very dangerous thing to say.
Well, I mean, it's a truck. I don't.
I
know
mean,
what? We're not going to get into.
you don't
Nick
know if-
DeGroot
you
is gonna
don't
lead
know
the
if it
field.
has a driver.
Well, are we sure that that's actually a driver? Because it could, and hear me out. It could very well be a sentient truck with a driver-shaped figure.
And I'm out. I'm out.
All right.
We're getting into some Star Trek stuff already, mate. It is not even 8 o'clock. Actually, it is 8 o'clock, pretty much on the nose.
Well, I mean, if you're talking about East Coast time, it's 8:03, so that would not be on the nose whatsoever. But regardless of what time it is, the real time is IndyCar time. Nick DeGroot is leading the field for their pace laps, or I should actually say pace lap, because there's only one of them. So he's going to lead the field off turn 4 and bring us to green. It'll be very interesting to see how the slipstream plays into effect. I've got a feeling that unlike what we saw at the Milwaukee Mile, I don't think we're going to see dirty air play quite as much of an effect as we did at that track. But Nick DeGroot is going to be leading the field to green here in Kentucky. Here we go. Thomas, any last words before this field rolls to life? And preferably, just say the words.
Nope. Here we go.
All right, we're coming to the green flag. Nick DeGroot going to be leading the field to green. We are underway at Kentucky.
Good start from Nick DeGroot. Behind him, David Leclerc just tucks him right into the slipstream. He got jumped. Max Davies looking to do something about it. Matt Wagner looking all over the back of Davies. Charles T falling back a bit, but he has actually overtaken Alexander Van der Sant for 5th place.
Oh,
behind
contact
them.
at the front. Max Davies
Oh,
hopped to the outside on Nick DeGroot, made a little bit of contact, and now, sorry, that's David Leclerc hopping to the outside
And
on
three
Nick
wide.
DeGroot.
3 wide with Max Davies, though.
Oh, no. Charles T in the
Max
middle.
And, yep, that is Matt Wagner on the outside. They've all gone pretty much single file now. And, oh! Matt Wagner almost into the back of David Leclerc on the outside line.
Yeah, things are getting messy pretty early on. Leclerc on that outside line trying to gain on Nick DeGroot. DeGroot coming up to cover it off. Leclerc back to second, trying to use that high line to his advantage. That was very close.
Oh,
to the
almost
wall.
contact. Almost contact. Who's in that purple car? That is, I believe that's Brandon Passalacqua. No, not Brandon Passalacqua. I can use words. Alexander Van der Sant. Yeah, Alexander Van der Sant almost made contact there with who looked like Matt Wagner.
Yeah, that would have been it, judging by how close they are on the racetrack. But lap 4 is about to be underway. We've gone green so far. Nick DeGroot is going to lead the field to lap 4 as David Leclerc, trying to make that outside line work, is going to pass Charles Teed for second. I'm very impressed with how these guys have been able to run that outside line. It's not something that we see on iRacing very often, but I believe that these DW12 Indy cars are still on the V6 tire model. So that would definitely promote multi-groove racing a lot more than what we've seen on V7 side by side for second. Again, David Leclerc holding on around the outside tee, losing quite a bit of momentum. Now Max Davies trying to hop to his inside. He's going to check the field up. They're spinning. Around they go on the front straightaway. Big crash already. Davies involved. One more flipping. And the caution is out on lap 5.
And that was an absolutely colossal one there. You know, it just looked like Max Davies got into the wall, Alexander Van der Sande had nowhere to go, and then collected both Matt Wagner and Eric Peterson to begin with. And
Yeah,
then, yep.
Yeah, that was not
It
pretty.
looked like everyone pretty much got through. You know, I think a couple drivers might have gotten a little bit of front wing damage. But blimey, Eric Peterson was sent flipping into the outside fence. That was pretty bad for his night.
Yeah, that's a pretty messy crash early on. It all started, I think, when Max Davies kind of checked up that outside line and got into Van de Sant. And it was just kind of on from there. We'll take a look at a replay. At that point, it's already too late. We'll go back just a little bit more, and you'll see it right here. Davies gets into the dirty air of Charles Teed, goes up the track, nearly gets into the wall, and you're going to see Van de Sant just can't check up in time, gets into the back of Davies, and around they go. Oh,
yep,
man.
And you'll see, collects Matt Wagner. Super unfortunate for him. Alexander Van der Sant also got hit. Now look on the outside. There you go. There's Eric Peterson. He flips straight into the outside catch fence.
Oh, that is
And you can
violent.
see, and then whoever that is who just went underneath him just had an absolute heart-in-mouth moment.
That is not good for Eric Peterson. But I will say props to iRacing. That was a very realistic crash. The way Eric Peterson flew into the air like Mark Webber, that very well done. We'll take one more look at it.
Which Mark Webber which Mark Webber aerial crash are we talking about?
I was thinking Valencia, but I guess the other one would have worked as well.
Yeah, it was AJ Hobson who had that heart and mouth moment.
We'll take one more look at it here. Yeah, Peterson just can't do anything. He gets on the wheels of Van de Sant, goes up into the air, and flipping down the front straightaway. The wheels. Man, that car just uses the wheels like a bouncing ball. Just bounces off of them. Propels that car into the outside wall. Sends him flipping. Overall, that was not pretty. Not pretty at all.
And I don't necessarily want to be the bearer of good news right now for AJ Hobson, but he somehow... Well, I don't want to be the bearer of good news, exactly.
Okay.
But yeah,
Sure.
AJ Hobson, he absolutely clattered, was it Peterson's car, and somehow has no damage.
Why would you not?
I'm not entirely sure how that's possible, but you know what? We saw iRacing gave us a realistic crash, not a realistic crash model, so we're not going to complain.
Oh, man, you can just see Peterson gets launched up into the air. Davies as well. I kind of don't want to stop looking at it because it's kind of beautiful, but in like a destructive way. So I'll take one more look at it here. Then we'll go back live. You'll see it with Max Davies. Thomas, let me know if I'm completely missing the pace car going off. You're going to see Davies getting up into that outside wall, getting tagged by Van de Sant, and just slamming into Matt Wagner.
Oh, and I think we're going back green.
All right, so we'll
Pace
go
car
back
lights are
live.
off. Yep, we're heading onto the back straight now. Pace car lights are off. Your leader still Nick de Groot from David Leclerc, and now Charles Teed sitting comfortably in that third place from Brandon Passalacqua, AJ Musselman, Corey Lane, AJ Hobson, Joey Gattina, Gary Corley, Greg Forsyth, Craig, not Greg, by the way. I know I mispronounced that. Josh Gardner, pronounced it correctly. Kristen Nelson, Nicholas Wonick, Benjamin Combs, Charles Johnson, Jim Brooks, Eric Schaus, Chris Massey, Jeffrey Duncan, Michael Spell, Todd Schneider, Alexander Van de Sant, Eric Peterson, and last place is currently Max Davies. Pace car is making that hard left turn into pit lane. And here we go. We're going back green at Kentucky.
Nick Groot in that black and white factory back machine is underway. We are back racing in Kentucky. Lap 8 of 120 is underway.
Yep, good start once again from Nick de Groot, pulling away nicely from David Leclerc. And I think someone's given Matt Wagner a solid because he's thinking someone, I think it was AJ Musselman, side by side now between Charles Teed and Brandon Passalacqua for that third place. Brandon Passalacqua looking towards the outside of the racetrack, nothing to do on this occasion. ducking back into the slipstream of Charles T. and AJ Musselman. Just kind of chilling. He's just holding on.
Oh, watch for the leaders here. David Leclerc is getting a big slipstream off of Nick DeGroot, going to the outside line. He's going to try and make the pass. DeGroot, though, holding on the inside.
Yeah, we've seen Nick DeGroot knows how to make that IndyCar the widest IndyCar in the world. As David Leclerc is straight to the outside once again. He's going to have no help on the outside, so absolutely nothing he can do. He's going to give David Leclerc all of the dirty air in the world, and David Leclerc is just going to, take it and say thank you.
Yeah, he's going to have to slot back in line there. That's one of the things, I mean, these IndyCars, they can make the outside line. Oh, caution's out.
I think something might have happened to do with Michael Spell.
Yep, he is off the racetrack now, back into the pit lane without a front wing. That'll do it. Caution is back out on lap 10. Max Davies may have been involved. He's on the radio as well.
Yeah, Max Davies. You know what? Yeah, Michael Spell washed up the racetrack and just collected Max Davies. Super unfortunate for Davies. And Michael Spell decided, he got iRacing Physics and said hello to the flipping fairy.
Yeah, look at this. He gets spun around by Davies, hits the outside wall, and then just kind of climbs it into the catch fence, and there it goes.
What? I didn't know that the DW12s like mountain climbing, dude.
Yeah, I didn't know that either, Just kind of flipped over.
Exactly. And you know what? I gotta get into my American TV announcer's voice because it's time for some ads. So, real quick, this series would not be possible without the support of ButtKicker. ButtKicker is a great service that provides you with essentially stereos, which you can put underneath your seat, and it gives you all the vibrations that you would feel on the real road. Go to thebuttkicker.com and put in code DARKHORSE20, if I'm not mistaken, for 20% off your order at thebuttkicker.com.
I think everyone came down pit road. Nick DeGroot is coming out as your leader, and since we don't have much else to talk about, we're going to go ahead and cut to commercial break, and we will be right back.
You're not live, mate. By the way, you're not live.
Huh?
You're not live.
Not live to what?
Your iRacing is not live. The stream is not on.
Yes, because YouTube is completely broken. That's why. we can't really do much about it. I'm assuming right now that it's all being recorded, but yeah, I mean, on my end, it says end stream, as in there is currently a stream, but, hey, if you're watching this, congratulations, you have broken the bonds of space and time. We're going to cut to commercial break, and we will be right back.
With the ButtKicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. ButtKicker. The future is feeling.
And we're back live here on TMG, taking a look at your race leader, Nick DeGroot, who came into the pit lane. He did not come into the pit lane, so I lied before when I said they had pitted. They had not pitted. Nick DeGroot will line up as your leader when we eventually go back green. I believe the lights will be out on the pace car this time by. Just watching for the lights down the front straightaway, and they're still on, which means we are officially out of things to talk about. Thomas already mentioned the sponsors. We've already mentioned that they have not pitted. Thomas, got any ideas?
I forgot my list upstairs. Hold on.
Huh. Well, that's certainly not good.
You know what? I can give you guys a real quick physics lesson on how these cars actually work.
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, so, a lot of people, I'm sure if you're watching this, you have a general understanding of what an Indy car is, but essentially Indy cars are just one massive wang. So you can see these two cars have two visible main downforce elements, the front wing and the rear wing, which both provide downforce, but most of the downforce in these cars comes from the understray. Imagine it as being sloped underneath the car as an airplane wing, but upside down. So instead of providing lift, it creates downforce. That's what we see at the back of these cars with the diffuser. So the diffuser is just a much more efficient way of throwing the air out of the back of the car. And all these little intricate elements you can see on the side pods of the car are the direct...
There, look at those side pods that I'm kind of showing right now.
There you go. So they are to help improve the airflow around the car and make these cars so much more aerodynamic, and also to help get that air towards the rear wing of these cars.
I think that'll take us to 1 to green. At least I hope it will. We'll see
I
if the
really
lights go
hope
out on
so.
the pace car this time by. Please, 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 please. Coming across the start-finish line, and they are out.
The
So
lights
we will
are-
go back green this time by.
Yeah, no, I was starting to run out of things to talk about aerodynamics because, I was going to start going into the intricacies of it, and I really, my brain's not functional enough for that at this point in the evening.
Oh, you can always just make up things. That's what I do. I mean, what?
Yeah, well, you know what? Okay, let's go over some real quick racing terms. So if ever I say that someone is on someone else's gearbox, it's because the gearbox of these cars are mounted at the rear of the chassis. Ooh. So when you say they're up your gearbox, it means that they're right up your backside, because there's no place in the front of these cars, because there's the driver and the suspension components, and right behind the driver is the fuel tank and then the engine. So the gearbox is mounted right at the back of the car.
Well, thank you for that. I think now we can actually start talking about the restart, where Nick DeGroot is going to be your leader. A couple of interesting tactics I think are going to be used here. I think whereas before on some of the ovals, you'd see guys try and wait to go as late as possible they would try and go as early as possible to try and catch everyone else napping. I think here you actually want to go as late as possible, because you don't want everyone to have so much room going into turn 1 to just slipstream on you and get right up to your gearbox. So we'll see what Nick DeGroot decides to do this time by. We can watch out of his gearbox, taking a look back at the 50 of David Leclerc. He's going to stack the field up, watch the pace car go down the pit lane, and will eventually bring us back to green here in Kentucky. There he goes. We are back underway in Kentucky.
Yep, this time David Leclerc was wise to his strategies and kept with him much better than he did before. You can see Charles Teat, though, in the background has... He's fared a little less well, and the gap to AJ Musselman is even bigger, but AJ Musselman has Brandon Pasolacqua all over his gearbox, and Corey Lane right behind him, and Eric Schaus believes he has the problem with his... Eric Schaus believes he's having an issue with his steering wheel, so... I can't make a French reference, can I?
Battle for the lead going on between David Leclerc and Nick DeGroot. DeGroot holding that bottom of the racetrack. Leclerc trying to get underneath him. They're side by side behind as well, like you mentioned, between Corey Lane and Brandon Pasolacqua. But up front, this is the battle for the lead. Leclerc trying to make that outside line work.
Charles Leclerc looking... Oh, goodness.
Oh, man.
I've said it.
We've
It's
made it
again.
6 races out of the season. I knew it would happen eventually. Still side by side for the lead. Leclerc on the outside of Nick DeGroot, trying to make that outside line work, trying to get a bit of a run off the banking, but it's not worked so far.
I think something might have happened to Joe McAdree because he was saying, "Oh, come on," over the radio.
So that definitely doesn't sound good. Now the battle for the lead is kind of getting into 3-car territory as Charles Teed winds up on the back of these leaders.
Yep. So I had a look at Joe McAdree, and he seems all right. So it might have just been a car giving a bit of a naughty little block.
I do believe that Charles Teed has not won a race yet this season. But right now, he's not really in the championship fight, but having a couple of good races, it could put him back in it, because he's been out of the championship fight for a little bit now. But if he's able to get up here and fight with Nick DeGroot, that could be a good sign for him. Trying to make that outside line work, trying to get a little bit of a run. It's not worked so far, though. He's hanging strong on the outside. He's going to have a go at the lead.
Yeah, he's going to need the help, though, from David Leclerc. If not, David Leclerc is just going to absolutely slide job him, as it looks like he tried to do, and then now side by side. And I think that might be it for Charles Teed in his second place hunt.
Yeah, Teed and Leclerc side by side here, but I don't think that it's going to be good for Charles Teed. That's one of the things that outside line, you can kind of hold with the guy on your inside. You can't really get a run on him, and that's one of the unfortunate things about a track like Kentucky, where everything's just kind of banked the same. You can't really make that outside line work very well, as there is a side-by-side battle for second between David Leclerc and Charles Teed.
Oh, and Charles Teed has just... He's done it on David Leclerc. Absolutely well done there to make the move around the outside. As we were just saying, it's not possible.
Well, you know what? These guys never cease to amaze me.
Jonathan, we need to start saying more things are not possible.
You know what? That's a good idea. It is not possible that any one of these drivers can beat Nick DeGroot.
Well, now you're wishing someone's going to beat Nick DeGroot, so now no one's going to beat Nick DeGroot. You see how reverse psychology works?
You know what, I'd rather just not ever talk about this again because I don't think this is getting us anywhere side by side. Well, not about to be side by side for a second. Teed getting a run on Leclerc once again. It's a very, very fluid battle between these two.
Oh,
it was almost
contact.
a crash between those two.
Yep, David Leclerc had to get all the way out of the throttle, and that's kind of ruined his run now down the main curve and down the short chute into turn 1.
I think it's just called the tri-oval, but okay. Leclerc going to make a run at the outside lane again, side by side going into 3 and 4. But Teed using that inside line to his advantage, going to slide up just a little bit, crossover out of Leclerc.
That was dangerously close to Charles Teed's rear end from David Leclerc. That could have ended very uglily.
This is a very good battle
and
for
Chris
second.
Nelson has made contact with someone, not sure who that is. I
I
think it might have been Matt Wagner.
Well, Wagner is around that area. Meanwhile, taking a look just a little bit up the road is Gary Corley going for the move on Craig Forsyth. Forsyth coming into this race second in the championship, having an absolutely abysmal day today. How about Joey Gattina getting a big run off turn 4, going down to the inside on Gary Corley. He is going to take away 6th.
Well done from the newcomer. He's done well now, getting ahead of the veteran in Gary Corley. Very fast driver, having raced against him myself twice, I think.
This battle back here for round 6 is very, very close. Everyone kind of in a... It's kind of my favorite form of pack racing, where everyone's spread out enough where they can actually make a move, but they're still close enough together to make the racing exciting.
Between Forsyth and Corley, that looked very close.
Yeah, I saw that. That definitely got pretty close. And car on the wall, Josh Garner. Garner got the wall down the back straightaway, lost the position to Matt Wagner. Meanwhile, for 6th, Joey Gattina back on the outside of Corley, trying to push him up the track, 3 wide behind. Nicholas Wanigan in the middle.
Yep, sorry. So it looks as if Josh Garner decided to try and force it around the outside on exit.
Thomas, I hate to interrupt you here, but there is now a 4-car battle for second. David Leclerc holding out of that spot at the moment, but Corey Lane and AJ Musselman have both cut up to the bumper. There's a crash. Car around behind, 3 cars on the outside wall. Gary Corley is among them, flipping down the front straightaway. Caution is out.
You know, we try to say good things about people, but apparently bad things happen to good people, and what on earth?
You good?
I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say this, but that looked on purpose.
Oh. I think you're allowed to say that. Let's take a look at a replay of what happened here. A little bit of a door slam. Oh, no.
That looked quite intentional.
Well, I'm going to give Corley the benefit of the doubt here and say that he might have just lost control. There's a very, very easy way to prove that. All we got to do is go on board here. On board with the driver, the number 7. We'll switch back and forth just a little bit so we can get a nice view of this. Here's Gattina down the inside, Gary Corley on the outside.
Yep, you know, I mean, he could have lost the rear end, but you know...
Oh, yeah, that's definitely not intentional. He definitely got loose coming off turn 4.
I mean, still, he...
Oh, man. He got, like, mounted on the side pod of Joey Gattina and got flicked up into the air by Kristen Nelson. I don't know what iRacing is doing tonight, but whatever they've done to their contact model, it's definitely working, because these are some
Nick DeGroot is in the pits, so is David Leclerc. Charles Teed, Eric Peterson stayed out. Corey Lane's in the pits, AJ Musselman as well, Craig Forsyth as well, Matt Wagner, Craig Forsyth. Pretty much absolutely everybody and their favorite dog is in the pits.
Huh?
Except for Joe McAdree, Eric Schaus, and Eric Peterson are the only 3 cars who've stayed out. Race off pit lane now. Nick DeGroot has won it from David Leclerc and Charles T taking it in 3rd. AJ Musselman keeping 4th.
We're going to take a...
I know. AJ Musselman jumped Corey Lane in the pits. Todd Schneider has stayed out, and he's just jumped a few drivers.
We're going to take one more look at what happened to Gary Corley. Yeah, I really don't think that was intentional. He was trying to steer back to the right there, but I think he just had to take a little bit of avoiding action because Gattina was sliding up the track. Corley got loose, is turning to the right, but at that point he really just can't save it. He got on the side pod of Gattina. They went sliding, but then you're going to see Nelson driving right into the accident and picking them both up off the ground, sending them through the air, and Craig Forsyth narrowly avoided that.
Yeah, that must have been a hair-raising moment for him. But should we bring up Joey Gattina?
I think we should, actually, yeah.
Hey, Joey, it's Tom Substitute Teams. You broke off boost. You got me?
Yes.
First of all, welcome to Dark Horse. Hope you're feeling welcome here. So, just, run us through how your night's going so far. First race, give us the rundown.
Things going good. Just being having fun. This is the first time in this car in forever, so we'll see how it goes.
Yep. You can see, it looks as if you kind of spun yourself out a wee bit because you got damage and that sort of stuff. I'm guessing you were probably in that, in one of the wee little incidents because it looked like you were struggling with some suspension damage. Just run us through what happened in that incident.
I really don't know. I just know that we were running good. I think we were somewhere around the top 5, top 6, and I just got hit. So I don't know. The 7 got me, and I had so much damage. I didn't want to tow. We just tried to make it back. And it was so, I guess it was right front was off the ground. It was a mess. So luckily got it back, and we'll have a chance to wreck it again.
Hey, I hate to cut you guys off here, but I'm just realizing now that while we were focusing on that wreck between Gattina and Corley, there was actually a second wreck happening in the back, where Eric Schaus got into Nicholas Wunnock. Wunnock slid up the track into Charles M. Johnson, pitched them both into the wall, and then I don't know who this is, but they're going to come into the picture and just absolutely ram into Eric Schaus. Yeah, wow, they just were not using the brakes.
Judging on the livery, that looks... Sorry.
Oh, man, everyone was just
scheme.
flipping, man. Just everyone was flipping.
Judging on the paint scheme, I have a feeling that might have been Todd Schneider. And terribly sorry. Yeah, Joey, we'll get back to you now. Yeah, so, obviously you got involved in that wreck, but you looked as if all day you've had a lot of pace in your car. So what are your hopes for the final while in this race?
I just want to continue to learn how to drive this thing, what it takes to be fast with this group of guys, and be clean. I'd like to finish the race with all 4 wheels on the ground and see what happens.
All right. Unless Jonathan has anything else to add?
I do not.
All right. Well, thank you, Joey. I will send you back to CJ's room, I believe it is.
Thank you, guys.
Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting development there. I really didn't notice it at first. I have no idea. I think it was like a golden car. I got to figure this out now.
Golden car. I think it was Todd Schneider.
It was not Todd Schneider, because I looked at his paint scheme. It was definitely not the same one. He was not in the right place at the time of the accident. Was it McAdory? No, that wasn't it. I think it might have been Peterson. Either way, they were not using the brakes.
I will go have a look at that incident, and I can tell you exactly who it was. So you give us the rundown, and I will figure this out.
Well, here's the rundown. Nick DeGroot will line up as your leader in front of David Leclerc and Charles Teed. Those right there are going to be your top 3. AJ Musselman running 4th. Corey Lane running in 5th. Pace car is off. We're coming back to the green flag on lap 33 of 120. Here we go once again at Kentucky. It'll be Nick DeGroot leading the field back to green.
Green flag, green flag.
Heading down towards turn 1 now, Nick DeGroot leading over David Leclerc. Leclerc moving up the track just a little bit, trying to get a run off too. Pretty spread out for these top 3, but I think the draft is going to close them right back up. Everyone right now on fresh tires. So we'll see if those cold tires affect the performance here at all. David Leclerc moving up the track quite a bit, trying to make that high line work in 3 and 4. He's closed the gap just a little bit, but not quite by enough. Nick DeGroot still leading by about 0.3 of a second.
Yep, I figured out who it was, and it was in fact race 1's winner in AJ Hobson.
Hobson. So I guess he must have changed his paint scheme. But battle for the lead here. David Leclerc moving back to the outside line. Nick DeGroot holding the bottom, sliding up just a little bit. That's one of the things about 3 and 4. It happens to be pretty prone to understeer. I think we've been seeing that quite a bit here. Leclerc holding that outside line as they go towards turn number 1. You can see DeGroot there still on the inside of your screen. I should have said on the left side of your screen. Side by side for the lead again. Big runoff too for David Leclerc. He's going to try and sweep away the lead here in 3 and 4. But DeGroot going to slide back in front of him.
Sorry, AJ Musselman in the back there, weaving up and down the racetrack, trying to find a way past Corey Lane for that 4th position.
Side by side
After
for the lead.
Corey Lane just
Leclerc's
overtook.
taking that inside line. He is going to take away the lead. New leader, David Leclerc.
Yeah, brilliant move from him. No one has managed to nudge Nick de Groot off this lead since the beginning of the race. Nick de Groot, though, he's going to have a look to go around the outside.
Oh, he's actually going to make it work.
He's making it work.
Wow, I did not expect that to work. But Nick de Groot is back to your race lead on lap 37 of 120. Very well done by him to take back this race lead.
Yep, I think he decided to implement his monumentous lead foot through turns 3 and 4 there and just absolutely full send it. Danny Rick style.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we're going to notice these drivers moving up the track a little bit as we come later on into these runs, because I think as these tires wear, these cars start to understeer just a little bit, so I think running higher on the track might be a benefit to these guys. Here comes Leclerc down the back straightaway, going to the outside.
One of the insider scoops I got from one of the race organizers, AJ Musselman, is that the tires start to go after 22 to 25 laps, and the fuel window is about 30 to 34 laps.
Well, I can actually monitor how long these guys have been on their stints, so that's pretty cool. I'll let you know when we get around that benchmark of 20 laps. Side by side for third, Corey Lane trying to make that outside line work on, I believe that is Charles Teed. Battle behind as well, Matt Wagner in the mix of it. He is on that outside line, trying to make that high line work. Craig Forsyth holding on to 6th. But the battle for the lead continues between David Leclerc and Charles Teed is there still, side by side for second. I meant Nick de Groot, not Charles Teed, but that's close enough. Not really.
How is that close enough?
It's not close enough. I'm just trying to not seem like an idiot here. Side by side for third. Now Teed on that inside line, going to have the advantage, but he is going to wash up the track. That might open the door for AJ Musselman to take him 3 wide. He will not.
And good news, YouTube has gotten their stuff together, and we're now actually live and it's working.
Well, that's very cool. For those of you who are just joining, we are on lap 41 of 120 here at Kentucky. Nick de Groot has been your race leader pretty much this entire race, but he is undergoing a lot of pressure from David Leclerc. We've seen 3 cautions so far. I believe 1 car has gone airborne in all of them, and I guarantee you that if you are just tuning in now, I feel like you definitely haven't missed much, because I feel like we're going to start wrecking again pretty soon.
Yeah, well, please, for the love of everything in this world, do not jinx it. I would love to see a proper green flag run from these guys to see who can manage their tires best.
I want to see more flipping. No, you don't want to see that? Okay.
Go to a trampoline park, mate.
Nah, I want to see cars flipping. You can't flip a car on a trampoline. It's too heavy.
I mean, you can flip a toy car, can't you?
You probably could.
Ignore the voice crack.
Now Charles Teed going defensive on the back straightaway. That's going to be Corey Lane trying to go to the outside line. Teed driving it in nice and early into 3 and 4, but he is going to slide up here. It's going to cost him quite a bit of momentum and leave the door open for AJ Musselman.
Yeah, AJ Musselman, I think he might just tuck behind, and as I said, he goes to the outside line for turns 1 and 2. You can't really make that work around the outside, but you're going to have to try and see if you can cut back to the inside. But then again, you can make turns 3 and 4 work around the outside, so you never know.
Yeah, 3 and 4.
It's a game of chicken, really.
Yeah, 3 and 4 being as flat as it is really opens the door for these drivers to run a little bit higher, try and keep their momentum up. I'm honestly surprised that AJ Musselman hasn't taken him 3 wide yet. He's had a couple of opportunities to do so.
Yeah, and a really good battle, though, for I believe is 6th place between Craig Forsyth and
Wagner. 3 wide, he is going to back out of it.
AJ Hobson and Josh Gardner for that 6th place. Really good battle, and they keep going 3 wide, and now they've caught right up to the back of this little pack of AJ Musselman, Charles Teed, and Corey Lane. So now we're about to have a 6-car battle for 3rd. Yeah,
this is gonna get really close indeed. The gap at the front has actually started extending. So Nick de Groot starting to pull away. It's about a 7/10 of a second gap now.
Sorry, 7-car battle. I can do maths and count.
Oh, I think Musselman just spun.
In the infield.
Yep, that was AJ Musselman. I can't even find him on my timing screen.
Why do I jinx him? He's
going to make it back up onto the track, though.
I believe, yep, he just lost it coming out of turn 4, and then almost took the hard left into the pit lane, and just, you know what, he did a Valtteri Bottas and decided the infield grass was just a bit too long for his liking, and gave it a good old-fashioned cut.
I have a feeling we're going to see that quite a bit. We're getting 18 laps into the run now, just about that point where these drivers are going to start losing some traction on their rear tires.
Oh,
Uh-oh. Uh-oh, that was David Leclerc, wasn't it?
nope, almost. It looked like something might have happened.
Yeah, Leclerc has lost a lot of ground. He's about a second off of Nick de Groot.
Yep, let me have a look. He's right up behind Nick de Groot, heading through the tri-oval.
Forsyth to the inside on Charles Street for third.
Yep. I think it might have been a lapped car, maybe on the inside. Gave him a wee bit of a distract, and then yeah, no, and then he got. And he didn't have a really good turns 3 and 4, as far as I can tell. You can see the gap at the front now is about 1.3 seconds as we're having a look at this amazing tussle for third place.
Yeah, very good battle going on right now. Craig Forsyth holding on to that position. Watch.
And David Leclerc is in the cross.
Oh, no.
He saved it.
Oh, there's a wreck behind. Into the outside wall they go. Matt Wagner involved. Hard crash runs straight away, and the caution is back out. One car on its roof. That's Josh Garner.
Yep, Matt Wagner, you know what, he just wasn't happy with the height of that catch fence and decided to, try and hit those top rungs a little bit further up.
I don't think this is basketball, Matt. You shouldn't be trying to go as high as you can. You should actually be.
I was about to say, dude,
dude,
these DW12s, someone make that meme. Someone make the meme of a DW12 making a dunk at the 2019 NBA playoffs, which Toronto won. Sorry, I gotta give a Toronto Raptors shout out there, even though I don't follow basketball.
Well, I had a feeling something was wrong when Matt Wagner went in the middle 3 wide, and something did go very much wrong. He slid down into Corey Lane, collected him, they both slid up the track and took out Josh Garner. I have no idea how Corey Lane ended up flying like that. That might just be... Have they implemented blowovers for the DW12s? Because if they have, that'd be very cool.
But one man who seems to be wearing his lucky pearl or something like that right now is AJ Hobson, because that is the second crash where he has stared death in the face and said no thank you. I mean, have a look at this. Heading down to turn 3 now, you can see AJ Hobson at the back right hand side of your screen, and then look, there's the contact. I said there's the contact. We're getting there.
There's the contact.
And then look at AJ Hobson. Just he says
no, I'm pretty
no
sure he hit that. I'm pretty sure he hit Corey Lane.
I'm not convinced. That looked close, but I will happily have a look, see if he has any front end damage. But nope, he checked up and oh my goodness. Hold on a second. Right. Jonathan, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take a screenshot of how close this got, send it to you, and you can put it on the broadcast just to show you how close to a very untimely crash AJ Hobson was.
Hey, really quick, we're just going to cut to commercial break for just a second. One more look at that crash by, oh my goodness, Corey. We are going to cut to commercial break for just a second. We will be back live for the restart. I believe the lights are not out on the pace car just yet. Now we have time. All right, we will be right back.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Yeah. All right, so we are back live. Back live now. Nick de Groot. Taking a look at him. He is your race leader. Everyone in front of him is a lap down. Thomas, I don't know why I have the hiccups, but we're just going to try our best to ignore it. I'm going to try and not speak, so Thomas, you just take over for a bit here while I attempt to try. Hold on, I feel like I should mute my mic. This is getting embarrassing. I can't actually show this on the broadcast because I don't know how to do that.
Just add it as a picture in OBS.
I could, but I would have to say. I'll do it anyways. You know what? You talk while I attempt not to talk, because otherwise I'll just be making sounds the entire time.
Yep. Okay. So Nick DeGroot is your leader. So yeah, as Jonathan just said, all these cars ahead of him are lapped cars. So that would be Kristen Nelson, Charles Johnson, Eric Peterson, and Max Davies. So they're going to be led around the pace car. Nick DeGroot will be able to lead us back to green. Craig Forsyth is in second. David Leclerc is fallen back to third now. And you can see all the other drivers pretty much behind him are all just kind of sitting there chilling. Nothing really happening, except I believe there's an 11th place car missing. I do not know who that is. Chris Massey is in the oblivion, apparently.
That is not good. Alright, so Thomas has sent me the screenshot. Here it is now. You can see it there in the top left of your screen. I'll make it a little bit bigger here. Oh, that's not what I wanted to move. Here we go. I still cannot talk without making very strange sounds. But there is the near contact between AJ Hobson and, I believe that was Corey Lane. Oh, God. Okay, maybe I should just mute my microphone. Thomas, please explain what's happening in the image.
Yes, you can see this is when. So AJ Hobson has absolutely slammed the brakes on. You can see just that gap. I mean, you could pretty much barely fit a hair in between those two drivers. But more importantly, I believe right now, and Chris Massey's back. Just okay, he's just spawned inside someone else. That's interesting. So Chris Massey is having connection issues, and he's disconnected. He's throughputed. So your retirees officially from this race are Matt Wagner, Michael Spell, and Chris Massey. But more importantly, we're about to go back to green flag running. Nick DeGroot is now right behind the pace car. Those lap cars have been let through. And Jonathan, I don't know how to do a restart anymore, mate. So you need to hurry this up.
All right. Okay, so we're coming to a restart here.
I'm kidding. I can do it.
All right, I believe in you. Go, Thomas. Go on without me.
Jonathan, go hang from your arms from a door frame for a second. That helps. I'm not even kidding. No, genuinely, have you never put your fingers on top of a door frame to cure hiccups? It actually works. Hold your breath as well. Okay, and Nick DeGroot's gone immediately. Super good start from Nick DeGroot. Craig Forsyth didn't quite see it coming. David Leclerc, though, he did. He's all the way on the... Yep. Okay, so... Okay, well, Jonathan is talking to me, making jokes, and he says that he'll be back shortly. He's just going to go try and cure his hiccups, but I'm trying to see what the broadcast is looking at so I can comment on it as well. Craig Forsyth is catching up to Nick DeGroot. Will he go for a move into turn one? It doesn't look like at this present time he might try and go for it down the back straight. If he can get a good enough run on Nick DeGroot, he gets all the dirty air, though. Super close. And you can see Craig Forsyth is on the outside. If Nick DeGroot is going to try to make a move around the outside through 3 and 4, we've seen it happen before. So here he goes. Oh, he's switching it. He's doing the slide job. Kind of. What's the opposite of a slide job? The cut under. And there he goes. He's underneath and he has led the lap.
Okay, so I'm back. I'm still struggling.
Jonathan.
Yeah.
Go cure your hiccups. I got this. So Craig Forsyth is the first driver other than
I believe in you.
Nick
Go
DeGroot.
Go on, Thomas. I believe.
Yeah, he's the first driver other than Nick DeGroot. Chat that leading that one lap felt like winning. So he's a happy boy. And you can see Craig Forsyth, he's going to go for another move around the outside. Nick DeGroot is going to block him off. He's trying to go for the crossover once again. I'm guessing Nick DeGroot is going to be wise to his tactics and might block the inside, but Craig Forsyth doesn't actually go for the crossover. And he's looking around the top of the racetrack. Behind him is, if I can find him, David Leclerc, who's looking very anxious to get in on this battle, catching up absolutely massively to David Leclerc. Ignore the voice crack. You can see Craig Forsyth almost bump drafting Nick DeGroot in that first place. And you can see he might be going for the crossover again. No, he's just going to try and get the run on Nick DeGroot. And you can see David Leclerc as well, right behind Craig Forsyth. Looks to be wanting to get in on this. And you can see Craig Forsyth, he's now making the switch. He's not. He's holding it around the... just above, in the higher lane, and look, here comes David Leclerc as Craig Forsyth goes down the inside of Nick DeGroot, and I can't breathe looking at this battle.
I'm back.
Okay, Nick DeGroot is on the outside. He's going to have to run once again, heading down towards the line. Nick DeGroot is going to lead this lap. But you can see Craig Forsyth is going to be down the inside once again. No, Nick DeGroot's just gotten him. He's just covered him off. David Leclerc now all over the back of Craig Forsyth. You can see Nick DeGroot now going to the outside of the racetrack. Craig Forsyth heading towards the inside. David Leclerc's having to back off on this occasion. You can see, there you go, Nick DeGroot is pulling right now on Craig Forsyth. I don't know if Jonathan's back yet.
I am back now.
And I can't hear anything, Jonathan, if you're here, but okay.
Okay, you know what?
David Leclerc is
am I
looking
muted?
to
No.
make another move. David Leclerc is making another move. He's looking to do it properly. He's going... Look to the outside of Craig Forsyth. There you go. There you go. Now Craig Forsyth is down the inside once again. Nick DeGroot is going
Thomas can't hear a word I'm saying, but Craig Forsyth
Nick
trying to
DeGroot
go
is
back down.
looking
Okay, I'm definitely
around.
Craig Forsyth's trying to go back down the inside.
Nick DeGroot is safe.
Can you hear me right now?
Okay, and now David Leclerc is looking.
Yeah, okay, so Thomas is deafened at the moment because he couldn't hear me at all. I don't know what's going on there. But Craig Forsyth's trying to go down the inside on Nick DeGroot for the race lead. They are side by side. DeGroot pulling back on the outside. Now watch for David Leclerc with a run from third, trying to get to second on Craig Forsyth. Keep in mind the significance of this championship battle because Craig Forsyth is second in the championship to Nick DeGroot. He's trying to make up as many spots as he can, trying to get as many points as he can on Nick DeGroot. So this is a very, very significant battle. I'm going to attempt to undeafen Thomas now. Maybe you can hear me again. Thomas, can you hear me?
Okay.
Can you hear me?
And now,
no one can't. This is a tragedy. But they're still they're not side by side for the lead anymore. We're having a lot of technical difficulties here. But they're side by side for the lead right now. They're no longer side by side. Forsyth falling back just a little bit now under pressure from Dave Leclerc. I'm going to attempt to reach out to Thomas and tell him that I am back. But he is deafened right now, so you can't hear him. I have DM'd him. We'll see if I can undeafen him without him constantly talking over me. I mean, I can't blame him. He literally couldn't hear a word I was saying. Nick DeGroot now starting to pull out in front of the field. Craig Forsyth falling back to David Leclerc. They're going to be side by side in a moment here. We'll see what happens going down towards turn number 3. We'll see if Thomas can hear me now. Maybe.
But okay,
can you hear me?
Now David Leclerc is down the inside.
Oh
He's made the
my
overtake
God,
of
no,
Craig
he can't.
Forsyth.
I don't know what's happened. I genuinely have no idea what's happened, but it's quite funny. They're racing nose to tail for second right now. A couple of people want me to notice them. Hello, Milo Lynn. You have been noticed. Craig Forsyth still trying to get that run back on David Leclerc, but now David Leclerc pulling away from the field. I'm going to attempt to undeafen Thomas again. Oh, okay, he still can't hear me.
And no, I just plugged back in my headphone jack. I hadn't realized
it had unplugged
itself. Wait, how long have you been back for?
I have been back for a solid 2 minutes, and every time I undeafened you, all you were just constantly talking over me. So, but you know what? It's okay, because we're back now. We're friends again. Balance has been restored. YouTube is working. Everything's great. And there's a very cool battle going on track.
Yep. And now, okay, Milo Lynn says, "Hey, Jonathan noticed me."
I already noticed him. I was deafened and muted, so
yeah. Okay,
I got over all the stuff. So
yeah, Milo, Jonathan notices you. L11 says, "Hey, Jonathan." I'm sure Jonathan says hi.
Who?
Lizard says, "I kind of want to join now." Lol. I'm sure somewhere Jonathan can throw the link to the Discord if you do wish to join this series. James B says, "Hey, it's fixed." Oh, okay. The fact that "hey" is spelled incorrectly is really annoying me.
They're side by side for a second again. Dave Leclerc to the top side, trying to make that move work into turn 1. Everything's kind of settled down now. We're getting quite late into this race. Once again, we do apologize for all the technical difficulties and also hiccuping difficulties. But they're side by side for a second going to turn 3.
Jonathan, do you know what a hiccup is, at least?
Yes.
So you can't call it a hiccup difficulty if you know what a hiccup is.
Well, actually, maybe it was like a not hiccuping difficulty. I had a difficulty not hiccuping. But I got it fixed. The issue was resolved. And there is a caution out of the racetrack.
Caution's out. Who is that? I believe it's probably going to be another interesting wreck and... and someone's in the infield. It's Josh Gardner.
Oh, Gardner.
Josh Gardner is... just kind of, he just lost it coming out of turn 4, 3, whatever corner the final one is, and spun it into the infield. Locked it down pretty nicely, though, and I think that might have been the only collision out on track.
Yeah, I think that might have been the only one as well. I mean, at this point, these guys are around 20 laps into the run, so it doesn't surprise me that it got a little bit more difficult to control the cars. As you see, Garner actually slid up the track for a little bit, so he tried to correct it. It was happening for a while at the time of the spin. He just could not get that car back under him. He was under pressure from Nicholas Wondick, so I'm sure that didn't help.
Yep, and he just lost it slightly coming out of the corner. And Bob was your uncle, and there he goes, spinning, almost saved it, but there he goes into the infield, locking it down quite nicely.
We'll go back live here because I am guessing that the field is going to come down the pit lane. Thomas, I do have a question. Bob was our uncle? What is he now?
He probably suffered from the hiccups too long.
Oh, man. Hate it when that happens.
I know. Well, actually, Jonathan, you do realize that technically you shouldn't be calling them hiccups, right?
Really? Are we going to get another mini lesson here?
Well, only a very quick one. You should be
Okay.
calling it a synchronous diaphragmic flutter.
If you
Which
can't
basically
pronounce
just
it,
means-
then I'm not going to call it that.
No, it's a synchronous diaphragmic flutter. There you go. Nailed it. First try.
I don't know.
Most people are now kidding. So basically what a hiccup is essentially your diaphragm deciding to lose the will to live and it just kind of starts spasming.
Thanks, diaphragm. I appreciate that you chose to do it now, other than any time where I was not needing to be speaking. You know, that's very cool of you. Somehow, the winner of the race off pit road was the 51 of Max Davies, although I believe he is laps down along with everyone else lining up behind the pace car, so I believe Nick DeGroot will still be your leader when we go back green.
Yep, cars who did stay out are Josh Gardner, Chris Massey, Charles Johnson, Eric Peterson, and Gary Corley. And Nick DeGroot on my screen is still the leader.
Yeah, so I
Max
think Davies is a lap down.
car. Yeah, he's multiple laps down. 2 laps down.
It's not good.
Can we get a repetitive effing chat for Max Davies, who was looking so strong at one point in this race, looking to maybe even fight for the win.
Yeah, just according to my sources, being 2 laps down is not good. But that's just my sources.
Yep. Jonathan, so if you want, the self-treatment section of Google is telling you to hold your breath for a few seconds.
Which is what I did.
Drink a glass of water quickly, pulling your tongue, biting on a lemon, gargle your water, smelling salts, or place a half teaspoon of sugar at the back of your tongue.
Huh. I don't have any of those objects readily available, but I'll keep that in mind.
You should see your doctor if your hiccups last more than 48 hours, or if they're so severe that they cause problems with eating, sleeping, or breathing. See a doctor immediately if you notice abdominal pain, fever, shortness of breath, vomiting, coughing up blood, and this is getting down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, I would also recommend seeing your doctor if you are coughing up blood under any circumstances. I'm not sure why that needed to be said. Like, hey Google, I'm coughing blood. Should I see the doctor? Probably. The answer to that question will always be probably.
Yes, well, actually, we're not going to become a medical show here. We are always about the racing. But on a serious note, if you do notice something that is severely wrong, do not hesitate to go see a doctor or go to the nearest hospital, because your health is the number 1 priority in these times.
Yes, and also, again, if you are coughing up blood, there is no circumstance in which you should not call the doctor.
We should stop talking about blood. We're going to get demonetized.
That implies we were monetized by YouTube.
Oh, yeah, but we're not allowed to talk about the vid. Sorry, I can't say the full word. If not, YouTube doesn't like us.
Well, we're getting suspended from YouTube. Bye everybody.
Yeah. So put it this way. Now, Jonathan, if ever we're going to talk about the Ovid, we're going to have to pronounce it Ovid, because if not, technically we're not calling it its real name, so we're not talking about, Ovid.
Yeah, this is getting weird. We're going to be going back green this time by because the lights are out on the pace car. There are going to be just over 40 laps to go, so that'll be around 1 pit cycle, unless anyone is feeling brave. I don't think anyone will be. So we'll be going back green this time by with Nick DeGroot in that 89, your race leader. 40 laps, or just over 40 laps remaining here in Kentucky. Thomas, what do you make out of these first 77 laps, and what are you expecting for these last just over 40?
I'm super excited for. Oh God, Jonathan, you've given them to me.
Well, you go ahead and figure
I'll be back.
All right.
Minute.
Oh no. Oh no. Well, it is unfortunate, but we have lost Thomas. We're going back green this time by. He'll be back in a minute. Nick DeGroot is going to be your race leader. Keep in mind, we're not professionals, so this stuff does happen. We are only human after all. Nick DeGroot is going to be your race leader coming back to the green flag. He's going to lead the field on that high line off turn number 4. Green flag is back in the air. We are back underway at the Kentucky Speedway.
Green, green, green.
You see him now going towards turn number 1 with Craig Forsyth in tow. AJ Hobson, race 1 winner, has worked his way up into 4th with pressure from Jim Brooks. These two battled it out at the end of race 1 at Auto Club. Now they're in a position to maybe challenge for the win here. Towards turn 3, David Leclerc on the inside of Craig Forsyth. That battle for 2nd. Raging on as Nick DeGroot is getting away at the front of the field. Back towards turn 1 now. Craig Forsyth in 2nd, trying to get that slipstream off of DeGroot and go for the race lead here. We know how much better Forsyth is than DeGroot on a shorter run. But is he better on the long run? Absolutely not. Nick DeGroot has been able to manage his tires extraordinarily well throughout the course of this race. So I think if this race comes down to a long run, it will be DeGroot's to lose once again. Here goes Forsyth now to the outside on Nick DeGroot, headed for turn 1. It's a very hard
Super interesting battle.
All right, welcome back.
The hiccups are gone. We're good. Craig Forsyth now looking towards the outside, heading down to turns 3 and 4. We've seen this be able to work, but only if you're properly alongside, which he's not at this point. And it looks like AJ Hobson is now trying to make the move on Craig Forsyth.
No caution. I heard the sound of a car hitting the outside wall, but I guess we're going to stay green. AJ Hobson, remember, he won race 1 at Auto Club. He has worked his way up into 2nd. He is using that high line to his advantage. Hobson being very aggressive here, trying to get the track position going towards turn 3. He could have a shot at it here, but DeGroot is going to pull away.
Yeah, David Leclerc is about to send it 3 wide with AJ Hobson. No, he's not. He's going to stick in right behind Craig Forsyth, but he's going to go ahead now of AJ Hobson and retake that 3rd place in this race.
This might be going after the lead here.
You know what I was saying? You know when I was saying that Craig Forsyth was, pretty much out of the championship hunt for this race?
Yes.
Yeah, he's now set in 2nd.
That is true, but he would need to make up a lot of points on Nick DeGroot. Keep in mind, it's not completely out of the question, because there are quite a few points on the line per race. So if Nick DeGroot were to have a bad race or just couldn't make a race, and Craig Forsyth were to have a very good race, that could completely turn the championship on its head. And I think we could see that, because we've got some very, very interesting racetracks coming up, including a trip to Japan. I don't think that'll be coming next week. I think that'll be in a few weeks' time.
I can check that for you right now, because we will be going, in fact, to the Twin Ring Montegi. I think that's how you pronounce it. And
Montegi, but yes.
Don't correct my pronunciation.
Sorry.
And we are going there. We are going there on the 2nd. We're going there on the 2nd of December.
So that'll be
4 days after my birthday.
Really?
Yeah. There's definitely 5 days after my birthday. Yeah, definitely no pressure for you to buy me a gift, Jonathan.
Thomas, your birthday wouldn't happen to be November 28th, right?
It is.
That's my birthday!
You're having a laugh.
This is fun.
It's meant. You're like the 7th person I know now whose birthday's on the 28th.
We gotta change for the lead here. Nick DeGroot running wide in 3 and 4, and Craig Forsyth is gonna take away the race lead here at Kentucky. The underdog rising to the occasion and going to the race lead. DeGroot, though, gonna fight back on the outside. It's not gonna be enough. Craig Forsyth gonna clear for the race lead, and for the first time all race, we have an actual lead change that has lasted for more than a corner.
Yep, but you can see now Nick DeGroot's going back to the outside, and that left as quickly as it came in. But David Leclerc now is giving the squeeze to Craig Forsyth, trying to make it work on the outside through 1 and 2. We know it doesn't really happen, so he's going to have to try and do it in turns 3 and 4. And people, we do need to remember, though, the fact that when we see all these big wrecks and all that sort of stuff,
he could do it.
And you can see Craig Forsyth back to the inside on Nick DeGroot.
No, it's not going to happen.
Nick DeGroot's going to have the run, though.
Nick DeGroot,
But
I will say,
David Leclerc to the inside. David Leclerc to the inside.
That might not be legal. I don't think he's allowed to pass down there. I know they're allowed to pass on the inside from the start-finish line to turn 1, but did he make that move too soon?
You see, only time will tell, Jonathan, and David Leclerc's not going for the lead.
DeGroot,
though, Nick DeGroot.
Yeah, but that outside line, I think, is going to be too strong. I was correct.
Yeah, it most certainly is. Yeah, but, you know, these cars take a tremendous amount of talent to drive because, remember, these cars are...
Hold on. Well, I'm just going to stick with it. I meant to switch to the gearbox camera. Instead, I went to the cockpit, but this works too. Down the back straightaway, Dave Leclerc going to get a big slipstream on Nick DeGroot, trying to move up the track just a little bit, but does he have Forsyth underneath him? No, he does not. So a couple of drivers trying to look around the track for more speed here, but no one has made that high line work as well as Nick DeGroot, your current race leader.
Yep, we're here with 31 laps to go, each lap taking approximately 24.5 seconds, which, if I can do maths in my head, means we're going to be here for about another 12 minutes of racing. And remember, these 12 minutes are going to be absolutely action-packed, 205-mile-an-hour racing here at Kentucky Speedway. And remember, this race...
I did not know they were going that fast. All right, continue on.
Well, actually, right now, David Leclerc is doing 223 miles an hour.
Oh my god! Okay,
yeah,
that's fast.
Yeah, these things are quick. Yeah, back to what I was saying. As David Leclerc looks for a move on Nick DeGroot, not going to be able to pull it off.
Of course not.
Yeah, this series would not be possible without the support of thebuttkicker.com. These people, they sell some absolutely brilliant, essentially butt kickers, and what those are is you put them underneath your chair, and they vibrate the bottom of your chair and give you all the sensations you would be able to feel on the road. Not Oldham, because obviously you're not on the road, but they increase your simulation tenfold. I have 2 of them personally, and they are absolutely fantastic. So I'd highly recommend them. You can get them at thebuttkicker.com, and you can use code DARKHORSE20 for 20% off at checkout. And remember, that is at thebuttkicker.com, valid until June of next year, I think it is.
Yes, it is. But why wait until June of next year when you can get them right now? Battle for the lead is on once again. David Leclerc going to the inside on Nick DeGroot. He's got to push him up the track just a little bit. That's exactly what he should have done right there. David Leclerc trying to take the, I can't speak. Trying to take the advantage of that high line away, but unfortunately, Nick DeGroot with the run off the turn is going to keep the race lead.
Yep. And I have to say, I would quite like to see this battle for this lead spice up a wee bit. But you know what? I am happy to see this happening. And by that, I mean, by the way, I want there to be more lead changes. Because right now, you know, Nick DeGroot is doing an absolute brilliant job of defending his lead. He's holding the outside through turns 3 and 4, which is exactly what he needs to do. He's holding the inside through turns 1 and 2, which is exactly where all the grip is.
Leclerc trying to make that outside line work. He has been able to make that outside line work. A brilliant move by David Leclerc, but he is not going to be able to get side by side. And he is going to have to stay in second. But and a caution. Caution is out.
And David Leclerc almost loses.
Oh, Gary Corley. Oh no. Oh no, he's gone.
Oh wow. Okay.
Oh, no.
Stratosphere much?
Oh. You know, I was actually...
he got tapped on the inside.
You know, Thomas, I was going to say...
AJ Hobson just came over the radio saying that it's very hard for him to drive because his dog has had an illness everywhere.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, Gary Corley, what are you doing, man? He just came straight down on Benjamin Combs, and I can't even describe that movement. Oh my. Oh no. This is not a pretty crash for Gary Corley. He came down on Benjamin Combs, got sent into the outside wall, murdered Charles M. Johnson, and it just did not look pretty.
Yep. And whilst we're here under caution, you know, I mean, pretty much all drivers are going to be pitting, given the fact we're probably going to be about 21 or 22 laps to go. But this is a really important thing for me to say. Because for those of you who do not know, I am a Canadian citizen, and today is, at least I don't know if it's American, but it is Canadian Remembrance Day. Today, November 11th, every year, we remember our fallen soldiers. And for my fellow Canadians, if you were watching this, at this point, I'm going to ask Jonathan, I haven't talked about this before, if for the first 2 laps of the race, we can just hold a moment of silence for Canadian Remembrance Day.
It is also American Veterans Day, so I actually think that would be a very, very nice tribute if we were to do that. So when we go back green,
Yep.
we will turn
Go
our
on.
microphones off and take some time to remember those who have fought for our freedom. Or, I guess... No, it works.
For
in the case
all of
Canada.
our rights. All of our rights.
Yes.
All of
Except
the
you're
rights
in
and freedom
Canada
we
and I'm
invite
in
this
the
day.
United States. So
Well,
it
it's
is
still
different
freedom, I
countries,
still
but it
think.
still works.
Yeah, and I also invite all of you at home who are watching, if you have, I don't know what the tradition is in America, but in Canada, if you have the poppy, now would be the time to wear it. And as well, if you want to take your hat off and stand, that would also be appropriate. I will personally be going to go get my poppy right now. I will be back in a minute.
I mean, if you're Canadian, I assume you do know what that means. As a American, I do not know what that is. But I can stand and remove my headphones. That will be my tribute. If somebody knows what a poppy is, please feel free to let me know. I know it's like a flower, but I don't know if that's in the way that Thomas is using it. Which we're still on the pace car, so we will be going back green in a few laps' time. With about a fuel run's worth of racing to go. So it'll be very interesting to see how this race plays out, because we've seen as we get closer to the end of those fuel runs that these drivers, they tend to make a lot more mistakes. I think as the tires get worn, they tend to slip around a lot more. You tend to lose control quite a bit more often. So it'll be interesting to see if these drivers are able to make it to the end under green. They'll have about 21 laps on their tires by the time the race is over, or 21 green flag racing laps on their tires by the time the race is over. So it could be a struggle for these guys to get to the end under green. I believe we will be getting 1 to green next time by.
All right, I'm back.
I do have a question. What is a poppy?
A poppy is a flower.
It was a flower,
And-
so I was right. Okay.
Yep, and on Remembrance Day, we put one on the left-hand side of our chest and gently stab ourselves. It's because it's on a needle. It's
That
very
makes
painful.
more sense.
Yep. All right.
I think we're getting 1 to green next time by. One of the things I was talking about under caution is that as we get closer to the end of this race, we're going to be getting kind of towards the end of that fuel run. So I think that we might run into an issue here where these drivers are going to be losing control a little bit more often. Because as we've seen, kind of as these drivers' tires start to wear, it definitely gets a little bit more treacherous for these guys around the racetrack.
Yep, it most certainly will be. You see, we're now 1 to green. Nick DeGroot is your leader from David Leclerc, Craig Forsyth, AJ Hobson, Charles Teed, Jim Brooks, Eric Schaus, AJ Musselman, Nicholas Winnick, Benjamin Combs, Brendan Pasalacqua, Joe McAdree, Todd Schneider, Jeffrey Duncan, Corey Lane, Joey Katina, Eric Peterson, Max Davies, Alexander Van de Sant, Josh Gardner, Charles Johnson, Gary Corley, Chris Massey, Chris Nelson, and Matt Wagner, as well as Michael Spell, your retirees from this race. Gary Corley, Josh Garner, Kristen Nelson, Chris Massey, Michael Spell, Matt Wagner, and Alexander Van de Sant. As we're now coming to the green flag, I invite all of you to keep a moment of silence. We will be as well. And if you can stand, hey, stand. And let's just remember all of our soldiers and thank them for the sacrifices they have made for our freedom.
Green, green, green.
Lap 101 of 120 now underway. Nick DeGroot has held on the restart. Craig Forsyth has gotten around Dave Leclerc for a second. Now he is going to be applying some pressure to Nick DeGroot for that race lead. Side by side as they go towards turn number 3. Forsyth going to be on the outside. Uh-oh. Oh, DeGroot just slid up the track there into Craig Forsyth. A little bit of contact. Forsyth sent up the track. Now David Leclerc shovels on into second. He is going to block Craig Forsyth's run coming up high and is now on the back gearbox of Nick DeGroot, heading down the back straightaway on lap 103 of 120. AJ Hobson has joined the fun up front as well. AJ Hobson battling with David Leclerc to get into second. Craig Forsyth in that third place position. Maybe looking to send it middle 3. No, he is going to hang back and stay in fourth. Now AJ Hobson clear for second, looking for his second win on the season. If you're Craig Forsyth right now, I got to imagine that you're probably cheering on AJ Hobson as much as you can, because for Craig Forsyth, he needs someone other than Nick DeGroot to win this race, because at this point, Craig Forsyth is in damage control mode. He cannot lose too many more points to your current points leader. On board with Hobson is David Leclerc going down his inside, headed towards turns 3 and 4. Not going to be able to make the move work, though. Leclerc sliding up the track back towards Craig Forsyth. Back on board with the 131 of Craig Forsyth. Wait a minute. I might still have Thomas deafened, because I deafened him for... Oh, no!
Nick DeGroot is going to push him up the racetrack.
Thomas, I have an apology to make. I had you deafened for the moment of silence, and I pressed the hotkey to undeafen you, and you never got undeafened. So if you said anything important, I am sorry.
I don't see why you weren't able to hear me.
No, because I was deafened and muted for that time. And
okay.
I pressed the hotkey to undeafen. Let it be known that I pressed the hotkey, and you never got undeafened. But you're back now, so please take it away.
Yeah, I was just saying on how AJ Hobson was trying to make a move on Nick DeGroot. And thank you, Paul, once again, for that. Nick DeGroot coming over the radio. I think that might have been accidentally, but AJ Hobson straight to the outside, absolute no hesitation. You see, he just has to commit. AJ Hobson simply has to commit around the outside, Nick DeGroot, if he wants to take this race win, as we're now coming to 12 laps to go. AJ Hobson looking to make the move around the outside. Nothing you can really do, though, through turns 1 and 2. So pretty much a one-line flick through there. Well, when I say flick, I mean it's a honking great corner. And now I've got my headphone cable jockled up in my poppy, and this really hurts.
Well, Thomas is going to try and figure that out. There's a battle for second going on. AJ Hobson battling it out with Craig Forsyth. And for AJ Hobson, I imagine a win here would mean quite a lot. The laps, though, ticking down. But for AJ Hobson, you might want to try and reaffirm, that first win that you got earlier on in the season, that saying to the world that it wasn't a fluke. I think a lot of people might be thinking, after a relatively disappointing run in the past 5 races, Hobson, he might just be wanting to reaffirm that victory. Well, at the moment, he is not in a position to do that, as Nick DeGroot has been running away with this race lead.
Yeah, he most certainly is. Craig Forsyth, though, getting past AJ Hobson, and David Leclerc might be trying to do the same.
Yeah, we've seen Leclerc on a couple of occasions kind of run higher in 1 and 2 to try and get a run down the back straightaway. It's worked this time by. He's got a run on AJ Hobson, who moves over to the inside to defend.
Yep, Jonathan, I think now would probably be a good time. And David Leclerc absolute sends it around the outside of AJ Hobson. But as I was saying, I think, Jonathan, now would be a good time to bring up the graphic which tells you how many laps these drivers have been on these tires and how much fuel they have in the car.
Well, I don't have a graphic for that, but I can say that the top 2 are currently on 15-lap-old tires, as Craig Forsyth sends it down to the inside, headed for turns 3. He could try and slide up here, but he won't.
Crazy too clean there from Craig Forsyth. He just has to be absolutely committed to the corner if he ever wants to get past Nick DeGroot.
Yeah, I got a feeling if these top 2 race each other like that anymore, we might end up with a wreck here. And to be honest, that would make things very dramatic, and I would not mind it. Side by side, going towards turn 3, Craig Forsyth's going to try and make the move he's cleared him. He made last time. He's got to slide up, though. Can't make the move work.
Yeah, but now he's going to have the inside line through the corner. The question is, will Nick DeGroot clear him before we get to the corner?
No, he won't.
Craig Forsyth up the inside now of Nick DeGroot. Nick DeGroot's trying to hold her on around the outside. Come on, Craig, move up the track, mate.
I think he could do it here in 3 and 4. He's going to have to drive it in deep, though.
He's not done it.
But he's not done it, though. Yeah, he has to drive it in just a little bit deeper. They're still side by side, your two championship rivals, dueling it out here in Kentucky.
Super good battle, though, between the 131 and the 89 car. They've been going at it for at least a solid 40 laps now.
Forsyth's going to try and make the run work once again, sending it towards turn 3, but he is just not driving it in deep enough.
Well, he has, because Nick DeGroot is barely on his outside now. The question is, will Craig
that
Forsyth
run down the
hold
front
on?
straightaway is just too strong for DeGroot. Side by side towards turn 1, and Nick DeGroot is back in front of the field.
Yeah, Craig Forsyth, he has to do this. He has to drive it in so deep to get past Nick DeGroot, and he's not going to be able to do anything about it. He's going to try and go around the outside.
Nah, I think he might have burnt up his stuff. He's going to lose quite a bit of time here. He's only going to have 4 laps remaining to try and make a run to the 89 work. It's getting down to the wire here on TMG. You won't want to miss a thing. The gap between the top two, just 2.5 tenths of a second, back down to 2 tenths. Can Craig Forsyth make a charge of the win here?
He's trying absolutely everything he can, but Nick DeGroot is just so strong through turns 3 and 4.
That dirty air, too, is not helping Forsyth one bit. He's got to do what he's done before. Get a run off 2, make it work down the back, and just try his hardest to clear him in turns 3 and 4. Only 3 laps remaining. Could he go for it again?
You can see Craig Forsyth getting the run again. Okay, you gotta drive it in deeper, Craig. You have to. If not, Nick DeGroot. Yeah, look how low he's getting on the racetrack.
But that and that angle down the front straightaway just completely killed his momentum. 2 laps to go in Kentucky.
The question is now, will Craig Forsyth win this, or will Nick DeGroot? Right now, I want Craig Forsyth to win more than anything. He wants to keep this championship alive.
Come on! He's got to drive it in so much deeper than he is right now. 1 lap remaining.
Oh, and he's lost all his momentum, and that has done it for Nick DeGroot.
He might be out of fuel. Has he ran out of fuel on the last lap?
I don't think he has. He's still accelerating hard, but that means, will David Leclerc be able to make the move? No, he won't. Charles T is out of it.
I think he's out of fuel. He's slowed down the back straightaway. Nick DeGroot is going to walk off in Kentucky after a dominant run, leading nearly every lap. It is win number 4 on the season for Nick DeGroot in the 89.
I think he is out of fuel. Where is... but David Leclerc, nothing he can do about it. I think David Leclerc got absolutely loose. Yeah, he did. Wow, good save from David Leclerc out of turn 4. Keep it out of the wall. And Nick DeGroot is your winner in Kentucky, making it now a 4 out of 5 race streak for the motorsport.com, I think is. Edward?
Yes, it is. Editor for motorsport.com, Nick DeGroot walks off in Kentucky, win number 4 on the season. He will extend his championship advantage, but hats off to Craig Forsyth. He gave it his everything. He just couldn't make the run work. But the checkers fly for Nick DeGroot. He is going to burn it down here in Kentucky, assuming that he chooses to. He's done it the last 3 of his wins. I can't imagine that he wouldn't do it this time. And there he goes. Nick DeGroot, you're a winner again.
Yeah. Well done for Nick. Super well done. Yep, Craig Forsyth did well again, but one driver who never ceases to amaze me with his comeback drives is, I gotta say, Eric Schaus. He started 16th, finished 5th. Same thing with Jim Brooks. Started 22nd, finished 6th. That is a crazy comeback. 16 places.
I believe
for Jim
Nick
Brooks.
DeGroot is attempting to make an 89 on the front straightaway. He was doing some very awkward burnout patterns, and I think that might be what he's trying to do, but I can't really tell. Finally, he's parked it as your race winner in Kentucky. Oh, no, never mind. He's still going. He's got to be pretty thrilled about this one. I got to say, this has been much more hard fought than a lot of his wins, but each one of them, they all have a story behind them. In Miami, it was the fight between him and I believe it was George Anzaldo. In Gateway, it was that charge back up through the field. In Milwaukee, it was that incredible pass around the outside that got him the win. And in Kentucky, it was winning the duel against Craig Forsyth. None of these wins have been easy for Nick DeGroot, but he has been able to make the most of every opportunity and walks off in Kentucky. I'm also very proud of myself because I did not make one reference to the Kentucky Derby or horse racing at all during that entire race. Well,
You see, I probably would have made a reference to that if I knew what it was.
you know what? I barely know what it is. It's an American thing, all right?
American thing. Oh, that's reassuring.
Hey, well,
All right.
one thing I want to do, though, is I want to take one more look at what happened to Craig Forsyth. I believe this is with 2 laps to go. I don't know what happened off 4, but he just lost all of his momentum.
Yeah, I think he might have been running out of fuel, or he just lost the rear end or something. Maybe he just wasn't confident in that car anymore.
Yeah, it could have just been that he got loose and was trying to save it preemptively. But I don't know. I think he might have just driven it in too deep. But I mean, he never gets loose. I think he might have right there. Because we'll attempt to look at this frame by frame. I could do this in a very unprofessional way and just actually open up the UI to do it. Yeah, I think you're going to see right there that he felt the car start to slip out from under him and just had to try and correct it.
Yeah, they turned back to the left slightly, and that's what killed his momentum.
Oh, yeah, right there, right there.
Yep.
There, he had to turn back to the right, and that is what ultimately secured the victory for the driver, the number 89. But again, not an easy one at all. I would reckon to say that this might just be the hardest fought victory that Nick DeGroot has had this season. But why don't we ask the man himself about it and pull him up into the broadcast booth for your top 3 post-race interviews, starting with your race winner, Nick DeGroot. If I can find him, just give me a moment here. There he is. Nick, this is Jonathan up on the TNG broadcast booth. You got us?
Yeah, I got you guys.
Well, Nick, in the end, it was a very, very hard-fought battle between you and Craig Forsyth, but you were able to get the better of him. What made you just so dominant in that race?
Oh, these are the races I've been waiting for all season. Anyone that runs with me in Indy Fix knows that I love the intermediate tracks. They're my forte, and when coming here, I was very confident. I thought all we have to do is start up front, stay up front, and we are going to have a good shot to win this race. And that's exactly what happened. Kept it. I think we were no lower than second, almost ahead in that entire race. So really, the only challenge was just the tires and dealing with them on the long runs and just how loose the cars were getting.
Absolutely. I mean, we saw you fight very hard at the end there with Craig Forsyth, and that's the second thing that I wanted to ask you about. It was a very hard-fought battle between you two, but what do you think gave you the edge over the driver of the number 131?
Just having that high line. I knew, paying attention throughout the race, that around 15 to 20 laps, those tires were going to make you get very unstable, very loose out of turn 4. And the only way to kind of deal with it is to be on the outside. You're still loose there, but it's so much better than the inside. So I knew I just got to keep on the bottom. And even if he doesn't lose it, I know that I'm going to have the momentum coming to the line. And he actually did almost lose it there, coming to the white flag, did a heck of a job saving it. And I kind of just, I don't know if you noticed, but I just tiptoed through 3 and 4 that white flag because I did not trust it at all. I'm like, I'm not going to just J.R. Hildebrand this thing on the last lap. But yeah, that was a really big challenge of the race for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, we saw, though, that there was quite a few wrecks throughout the field. And ow, I just stabbed myself with a poppy. Oh, that was really painful. Oh, sorry. That really hurt. Yeah, Jonathan, take this question.
All right,
ow.
So I was just going to ask you that we saw that really throughout the race, you were the only driver who could make that high line work. Really, what was the difference between you and the field? I feel like we ask you this every race, but you're just that dominant.
I think it just came down to trusting it there. Yeah, just going to the high side. I was not lifting at all when I was on that high side. You just kind of rip it and let it slide up. Trust that it's not going to hit the wall. Trust that it's not going to spin out. And for the entire race, it didn't betray that trust. So that was pretty good. I was practicing it a bit there in the session before that and learned a few things. And I think that helped me big time.
Well, Nick, not a lot of people would be able to deal with the amount of pressure that you dealt with. I assume you dealt with a lot of pressure with Craig Forsyth, unless you really are just that confident, which I don't entirely doubt.
Oh no, that was white knuckle. He had me on the edge of my seat there. That was some hard racing.
Yeah, well, Nick, real quick before you go, I've managed to secure my puppy in a place which hopefully won't stab me now. There was quite a few wrecks, and when I say quite a few wrecks, I think there was 5 or 6 cautions in that race. Jonathan, correct me if I'm wrong.
That sounds right to me.
Yeah, but you kept nailing it, restart after restart. What was your trick on the restarts? Because obviously they were just so damn, important in this race.
Yeah, I never did a restart the same way twice. I either would go a little later, go a little earlier, be close to the wall, be a little bit lower. I just never wanted to do the same thing twice, didn't want to create a pattern. And I think that was helping me big time on the restarts because the best and easiest time to get me was going to be on those restarts. But yeah, it was definitely an interesting race with this setup. Got to thank Lionheart for that. I know they work on the setups for this league, and it makes for some very interesting races.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you very much, Nick, and good luck next week out in, I believe,
Michigan.
Are we? Yeah, Michigan. I was about to say. Yeah, and then after that we're going to Texas, and then to end off the season we have the Twin Ring, Donington, and the Indy 500,
Oh boy,
finishing the season off.
That's going to be an experience.
Michigan's going to be an exciting one. I look forward to that. So yeah, maybe we'll put on a show again next week. We'll see.
Yep, another 120 lapper, 240 miles at the Michigan International Speedway. So thank you very much, and we will see you next time out.
Thank you, guys.
Next up, we're going to bring Craig Forsyth up into the broadcast booth, who nearly had Nick DeGroot there at the end. Thomas, if you can find him.
I got him.
Normally you do this. I'm not used to it. There we go.
Hey, Craig, it's Thomas up in the TNT broadcast booth. You got me?
I sure do.
I think we might need to just turn you up a bit because you're not very loud.
I got it.
Yeah. So, Craig, super unfortunate. You look like you were going to have Nick at some point. You just kept trying. You kept persevering. And, good things happen to good people. But unfortunately, it didn't go your way tonight. Just walk us through what happened there in the closing stages.
No, I don't consider it unfair. I think I started like 15th or something. Getting up to the front without getting involved in any of the accidents was the lucky part of the whole race. I mean, I did not have anything for Nick. I mean, as long as he protected the high line on 3-4, I was not getting past. You could kind of get past him, but you wouldn't carry that. You wouldn't carry that over the checkered flag. So he was doing exactly what he needed to do. He protecting the high line there, knowing that no one, you're not going to pass anyone and going through 1-2. That's just purely to build momentum for the back straight. So I kept waiting for him to make that one mistake where he'd forget to protect the high line. He never did. And then, we were starting to get towards the end of the run there. And I knew that, with how low I'd been pushing 3-4 to try and make sure that I was keeping him honest the whole time. I knew the tires were going to start going. And I think it was 2 laps before coming out of 3, had the tightest little snap on the back, and I was able to catch it. And I think right behind me, AJ had the exact same thing happen. And that's how he fell out with him and David, their battle. So we were just hitting the cusp of the tires going away for the guys who'd been driving hard into 3-4.
Craig, looking at the rest of your season, you are still second in the championship, but the gap between you and Nick is getting slowly wider. Do you think there's anything you can do in this last half of the season to try and close that gap and maybe make a run at the championship?
Well, I need to pay some guys to take them out. I think.
Craig, I'm accepting quote donations to commentators curse him.
Oh, those are the best.
Don't worry. I literally I gave you the good commentators curse today. I said I didn't think you'd be able to get up to the front today, and you did.
It worked out. I mean, I think it was the first accident, the one on lap 2 or 3, where there were cars flying everywhere, and I was worried about getting rear-ended, trying to tiptoe through there while everyone's trying to slow down. I got lucky because didn't get touched at all.
Yeah, it was definitely a very fun battle between you and Nick DeGroot there at the end, but do you think there's anything that you maybe could have done differently? We know you talked about this just a little bit, but do you think in hindsight there's something you could have done differently to maybe try and get around him?
No. Honestly, as long as he was protecting that high line, I could not figure. I don't think there is a way to pass someone on the low line in 3-4. If there is, I haven't seen it done, and maybe I'll have it shown to me, and I'll need to figure out how to do it. But no, he did what he needed to do, and I'm not the driver who's going to slide up in front of someone and block them off and slam them into the wall. So that's not how I drive.
Well, it would have been very entertaining. But thank you for joining us, Craig. Congratulations on that second place finish, and thank you for putting on a very exciting race there between you and DeGroot at the end. We hope to see you next week at Michigan.
Hey, you bet, you guys. Thanks to our veterans today, and you guys stay safe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Much appreciated, mate.
And next up in the broadcast booth will be, if we can, because I think we might not have been able to do this. We can now, as we're going to bring David Leclerc up into the booth, your third place finisher, who had a shot at the lead a couple of times. Thomas, go ahead and start us off.
Yep. Hey, David, it's Thomas from the TNG Broadcast Boost. You got me?
10-4, I got you, loud and clear.
Brilliant, mate. You know, you looked as if you had a shot at the win for most of the race, but in those last few stages of the race, you just kind of started to fall back. You know, just what happened?
I just made a few mistakes, and some of these guys, you can't make any mistakes with these fellas, especially the guys who are in the front there. And like I say, getting loose in 3 and 4 there, after a while, you had to be pretty careful. So I just kind of settled in, behind Craig and Nick there for a bit, and I battled Craig there for a good while, and Nick also. But like I said, I just kind of had to settle back after a while, and once you drop back to a second or so, it was pretty hard to catch the draft again. So you just kind of had to settle for what you got.
Yeah, towards the end there, we saw you, Forsyth, and Nick DeGroot battling it out pretty close at the front, but you kind of fell off towards the end. Do you think there's something you maybe could have done differently to try and get the track position? I can speak.
Like Craig was saying, it's pretty hard. If you had that higher line going into 3 and 4 after 5 or 6 laps there, maybe at the first, if you just get out of the pits, and you might be able to pull off a pass in that turn or those turns, but pretty hard to do it after, like I say, 6 or 7 laps. You just started to slide up, and like you say, you didn't want to jeopardize the guy on the high side, so had to back off a bit. But made it for an interesting race, that's for sure. Nobody was just taking it for granted, that's for sure.
Yep. Well, thank you very much, David. You did a really good job out there tonight. Thank you for putting on a good show. And congratulations on your first podium of the official season after getting the win in the pre-race, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, you are not mistaken.
Yeah. And, happy Remembrance Day, mate.
All right. Thanks a lot, pal. Thanks, guys.
Have a good one.
So that is going to do it for our post-race interviews. You heard from Nick DeGroot, Craig Forsyth, and David Leclerc. We're going to pull up the results on the left-hand side of your screen. I know a lot of you did not get to watch the whole broadcast because YouTube decided that now would be a great time to completely break. So we do apologize for that, but there will hopefully be a recorded live stream that will go up after. If not, the opening part of the race was basically just a lot of wrecks, so you didn't miss too much. We are going to see you all next week at Michigan, which I would like to call kind of the Daytona of the series with how fast that track races with all this downforce. But yeah, we're going to see you all next week in Michigan. Unless, Thomas, you have anything else to say, we're going to be signing off.
Nope, that's pretty much it.
Well, that's going to do it for race coverage of the Kentucky race. That'll be race 6. This is flowing really awkwardly, so I'm going to move past it. We'll see you all in Michigan. Goodbye, everybody.
Have a good one, unless we forget.